Come on in. Yeah, it's time for tea with me. It's story time.
I can feel my courage tremble after I have come so far. Today my heart is sinking.
Get on in here.
And my world is caving in.
Something's itching.
But there's light on the horizon. And the darkness will give in to one more day of hope, one more day of faith. Tomorrow will be brighter if I get through today. Better days are coming further down the road. So for now,
I forgot to start it.
keep clinging to one more day of hope. One more day. And I know that I'll get through this. My dreams are in my grasp. When I find the power within me, I know this storm will pass. It will only make me stronger. When this victory I've won, I can last a little longer.
Come on in.
If I keep holding on to one more day of hope, one more day of faith, tomorrow will be brighter if I get through today. Better days are coming further down the road. So for now I'll just keep clinging to one more day of hope. One more day.
That's what we need. Hope. Hope for the future. But we got today. Why not today?
So for now I'll just keep clinging to one more day of hope. One more day.
Well, welcome everybody. It's Sunday afternoon. It's Renew Your Spirit Day, and that's what I've been doing today. So please share our little videos. Give us a thumbs up if you're on YouTube. On Facebook, share us with your friends and family. I know there have been a lot of new people come in because y'all have been sharing, and a lot of people do not know anything about me. So I'm going to take a few minutes to talk about me as a person. I was born in 1956. So yeah, I've been here a long time. I'm 64 years old. I live in Western North Carolina in the mountains. I have one son. I have a brother and I have 4 sisters. And I'm the oldest of all of them. What else can I say? I have one sister that has passed away, my sister Leanne. She died 2 years ago, and y'all helped me get through that. I have my sister Patty, who's on here with us. I have my sister Dina, who lives in eastern North Carolina, and my sister Susan, who lives in Birmingham, Alabama. And I didn't know Susan until just a few years ago. I didn't know my brother until about 10 years ago. But I'd always looked for them. I knew of them, but I couldn't find them because they had different names. I couldn't find them. But thanks to Ancestry.com and Facebook, I've been able to find them, or they found me. So it's just been quite a journey, quite a journey. My first year to vote in a presidential election was in 1976. And I was 20 years old. I didn't know much about politics. I really didn't know anything. My mother and my sister Dina went to Plains, Georgia, and met Jimmy Carter's mom and brother, and I voted for Jimmy Carter. But that was the last time I ever voted for a person who was Democrat on the ticket, because at that point I started studying. I started watching the political conventions. I started reading the platforms of each party, and I started educating myself because I couldn't believe the news media even back then. And I didn't watch a lot of news, but I studied. I studied the platforms, and that's important. Jimmy Carter is a great man. He believes in fair elections. He has gone all over the world in helping. I was the international spokesperson for Habitat for Humanity for several years. And, I did what I could to help people. And he's done what he can to help people. My down-to-earth, common sense way of looking at your house is different from everybody else. I don't get into this spiritual aspect of how the Marie Kondo method of it has to bless you. Well, if you don't use it, it needs to go away. It's just plain old common sense. Quit beating yourself up over your house when you can just hit a lick at a snake and get up and do something. That's my common sense approach. Well, last election, 2016, Michelle and I were going to conventions, homeschooling conventions all over the country. And we went to a homeschooling convention in early 2015, and we got to meet, she already knew him, we got to meet Ben Carson. He gave a speech. I was at his speech. I got his book. I read his book. And so I supported Ben Carson. He seemed like, I loved his story of his mama not even knowing how to read and would teach for every book they read and Bible verse they learned, they would get a nickel. And it was just an amazing process of him growing up. But he had a mother who believed in education, and he became a top neurosurgeon in the world. And he had an amazing story. So I studied him. We waited in line for hours to be the last people to talk to him, because Michelle, my assistant at the time, Liz's mother-in-law, her brother and sister-in-law worked for Mr. Carson. They worked for him. And it was just such a wonderful man to talk to. And we got up there, and Michelle had found a picture of her nephew who was named Ben, not my nephew, her nephew, who was named after Dr. Carson. He was named after Dr. Carson because Michelle's sister-in-law was his nurse. So it was just a beautiful story. So I learned all about Dr. Carson. And then when Dr. Carson dropped out of the race, I started looking at Ted Cruz, studying all about Ted Cruz. I knew all about Ted Cruz. I knew he was a great debater. I knew he would make a great Supreme Court justice because he's argued in front of the Supreme Court. He understands the law. So I studied all about Ted Cruz. And then when it came time for me to vote, we were late in the season voting, and by that time there was just one person left to vote for, and that was Donald Trump. Because I'm a registered Republican. I've been a registered Republican since I've been in North Carolina. I was a registered Republican every place I've been, and I changed my registration when I lived in Lake County. So being able to vote in the Republican primary and be able to pick who's going to run was important to me. Well, when Donald Trump ended up being the candidate, I had already read his books. I mean, here he was. He had a TV show. He had this huge tower in New York. I had already read his books. My sister, Patty, had been to Trump Tower, and she had seen him come down the elevator and tour things. And she had seen his people ahead of time walk up to folks that had their feet on the furniture or had their feet on a marble table. And they'd say, everybody, just he likes for his things to be taken care of. And so I understood that from like 2014 and before, that because Patty had told me the story. Well, I've already voted, and I've already voted for Donald Trump. But I am not stuck in a news silo that tells me he's the only person, because I listen to everything. I listen to the left, I listen to the right, I listen to Joe Biden, I listen to Donald Trump, I listen to pundits on this side and pundits on that side, and I make up my own mind. Nobody tells me how to vote. And if you're in a cancel culture, and you're sitting there saying you're gone, that's fine. You're gone. But you know something about me. You know who I am. And if you haven't known I was conservative and I stand up for that flag, then you've been missing the boat, because I have never played myself to be liberal in any form or fashion. You got to work for what you have. You've got to work for what you have. It doesn't get handed to you on a platter. It doesn't. And so when I realized Donald Trump, we didn't know if he was going to win last time. We didn't know. We just knew, I knew that we needed a businessman in the White House. I knew that we needed somebody to run our government as if it were a business and to think about every penny that was spent. That's what I believed. And if you're in here commenting on what a bad person I am because I voted for Donald Trump, well, then you need to leave, because this is my platform. I get to say what I want to say on my platform. And, we don't know what's going to happen with this election, but I voted. Now, Leanne and I, not my sister, my sister up the mountain, Leanne and I think of each other as sisters. She probably canceled my vote, but that's okay. That doesn't make me love her any less because she voted for Joe Biden. That's who she wanted to be. That is who she wants to see as president. I don't understand it, because when we had Obama in office, we almost lost our business. because y'all were in dire straits with health insurance and everything that happened when health insurance rates went sky high. It was awful. I saw you hurting. And when the pandemic hit, that was nobody's fault. I had a friend in China who caught the virus. We did everything we could to get her healthy again. She was young and she was able to survive it and get her home to Tanzania. So I knew a little bit about what we could do to protect ourselves. And we're learning all the time that what we helped Esther to do is some of the things that we can do. Take our vitamin D and drink our liquids and take our supplements and the zinc and all this stuff to be strong. Lose weight. Well, I hadn't lost weight. I went through the craze of of sourdough, but here we are. We're coming up 9 days to another election. We don't know who's going to win, but you just have to know that God has this. If it's meant for Vice President Biden to be president, we'll survive that too, because we have a great Constitution. I mean, my husband probably canceled my vote, but it doesn't matter. I voted, and I voted my heart. And what I believe is that we have to protect the children. We've got to get rid of this debt. Debt is going to kill us. Almost $30 trillion in debt. That is going to turn this country upside down. And we've got to take care of that. We've also got to take care of the children of the unborn children and the babies out there that have no hope. That's why I played the song, One More Day of Hope. We have to stand up for the children who don't have a voice. I'm reading a book by a young black man who wrote his first book, and he posted pictures on, his name's Terrence Williams, I believe is his name. I should go get his book so you can see it. I'm going to go get it. Hold on a second. Just hold on. Hold on. I'll be right back. I'm going to go get Terrence's book. I'm back. Let me get my microphone on. Anyway, I'm reading this book, and this is Terrence, and his book is called From the Foster House to the White House. He got to sit with the president at a luncheon next to the president, and he is a young man. He's a comedian. That's my bookmark. And he stands up for what he believes too. He's not letting people tell him how to think. He is standing up for what he believes. And I follow him on Twitter, and he posts pictures of his books when they came in. I understand that feeling. I've gotten a book that we couldn't wait to get the supply of. We also, our body clutter book, when we first published that book came in destroyed. 15 pallets of books destroyed because somebody didn't want that message out there. And we had to go back to press right away because we only culled out of 16,000 books on those pallets. We only got 300 to go to Baltimore and do our book signing. So I like to read biographies. I downloaded another biography today. And that biography is about a priest in the Catholic Church. A priest in the Catholic Church. And he had a TV show many years. In 1957, the year after I was born, he had a TV show. It was... I watched a 20-minute video on Bishop Fulton Sheen. Bishop Fulton Sheen. And I found a podcast on Apple Podcast stuff that is 50 of his shows. So I can't wait to listen to those. You know, it's just so important for us to stand up and stand up for what we believe. Know what we believe. I'm not going to tell you how to vote, but I want you to know why you're voting. Yeah. And understand that a lot of things that you're hearing in the news media is against our president. Yeah. The news media was all for Obama. Yep, they were. I quit listening to the news media back in 2007 when they created a recession to get him elected. I quit listening to the news media except to know what they were saying. Right now we're looking at the news media totally against President Trump, unless it's Breitbart or unless it's people that are giving you a full balanced opinion. Fox News, they are probably the most balanced. Even though I yell at them sometimes, they've got a lot of balance to their news. I watch my local news. I watch ABC News. I've looked at MSNBC. I've looked at CNN. I look at all of it so that I know what's going on. And I see how people within different organizations are ruining our news media. And our news media has been infiltrated. Yeah, I'm going to go with a full-out conspiracy theory with some Chinese in it. And the Chinese government is against us because we're the most powerful nation in the whole wide world. And they're trying to take over the world. Do the research, study the 100-year plan about China. Just study it for yourself. Don't listen to me. I'm not telling you how to think. Just study it for yourself. I am so happy that Donald Trump is bringing our manufacturing back to this country. We're working with a factory right now that could possibly be able to give us purple rags. How cool would that be? One step at a time. Bringing our blood pressure medicines back over here. We had a shortage. Now listen to this. When the pandemic hit, 2 ships bringing PPE, personal protection equipment, mask, N95 mask, shields, gowns, two ships were turned around to go back to China. Do I blame China? No. They were in dire straits. They needed their own protection, but they stole what they had sold to us. Because for it to leave the dock in China, our hospitals and our distribution companies for these products had already paid for that stuff. So they stole it. They stole it all from us. So it's important for this manufacturing to be brought back to the United States and its territories. There are very few companies that mine for the minerals that go into these medications. So they're opening up Minnesota's Iron Range. They are working with people in Puerto Rico. My nephew, Brandon, is involved in the pharmaceutical industry. He's a consultant for the pharmaceutical, and he works in Puerto Rico a whole lot. So you see, we've got to be able to take care of our own people. We can't be held hostage by a foreign government. Yeah, it might kill my business, But I'm willing to take that chance to get our manufacturing back over here. And that's why I voted for Donald Trump. And if you don't like it, you can leave. You can vote for whoever you want to, but you don't have to get on here and post comments on my page because they're going to get deleted because it is my page. Even though my flybabies will defend me heart and soul, I know they will. But I have never hidden from you who I am, what I believe in, because I know. I watched the movie Unplanned. I watched the movie about Kermit. He was an abortion doctor in Philadelphia. His first name is Kermit. I don't know his last name. It was a terrible, terrible book that I read. And I realized that abortion kills 1,000 black babies a day. Abortion kills 1,000 black babies a day. And that's just sad that people think that it is a woman's right to kill their baby. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart for these children. We have the ability to have our tubes tied. We have the ability to take birth control. We have the ability to not have sex at all until you're in a marriage. We have that ability. Yet we think killing our unborn child is the only way to go. And I'm telling you, it hurts the mother as bad as it hurts the baby. I know. I know this. I've talked to women. I know how bad it is. Some of them never get over it, especially with late-term abortions, which is awful. So I voted for Donald Trump for the babies, for all the babies, because we've got to have a country. We've got to have a country that protects the babies. Well, folks, I've been on my soapbox long enough. I love you all, and thank you so much for sticking with me. And, those of you who agree with me, great. Those of you who don't agree with me, you don't have to watch me. That is your choice. If you choose to stay on here and badmouth me, then you need to leave because this isn't your platform. I am a good person. And you believe Donald Trump is a bad person because the news media has told you that. The news media are the people who are creating this great divide in our country. Leanne and I love each other. It doesn't matter to me how she votes. We sponsored her to become a U.S. citizen. It is such an honor to help people become a U.S. citizen. So folks, vote. But vote knowing what you're talking about. Just because you think Donald Trump has a bad personality, personally, on his first debate, I thought he did a great job standing up for we the people. Standing up for us. I knew he was a fighter, and I have seen him fight when, Joe Biden stays at home or just in Delaware, doesn't travel very far from his house. I saw Trump do 3 rallies yesterday, starting in Florida, and he voted in person. And then he did a rally in North Carolina, in Lumberton, North Carolina. Then he did a rally in Pennsylvania, Circleville, Pennsylvania. And then he went to Wisconsin. It's 30 degrees last night. I saw him do 3 rallies in one day. I've watched him do another rally today in New Hampshire. He'll have the rest of the day off. So, folks, know what you're voting for. Don't let the propaganda of the news media feed into your decision. Know who he is. I've read 3 books, biographies about him. Just, Bill O'Reilly has a great one. I've read 2 before he ever ran for office. 2 before he ever ran for office. And I knew what kind of person he was. He was a person that could get things done. You might not like his personality, but he made things happen. And you know, he's done more in 3 years and 9 months of being president than any president in the history of our country. He has. You know, people people are wearing masks at the rallies. You may be calling them super spreaders, but it's time to open up our country, open up our economy, and be safe. They hand out thousands of masks at these rallies. They do it. They take their temperatures before they come in. So know what you're talking about before you call them a super spreader. Know what you're... Trump is not a racist. He's not a racist. The media has made him out to be a racist, starting with the Charlottesville hoax. And if you'll look up Charlottesville hoax or go to Scott Adams' page, he explains it all. I actually heard the original speech that got hacked up to pieces to say that he was a racist. No, I don't want statues torn down. Does that make me a racist? No. Robert was heartbroken when they pulled down Silent Sam at Chapel Hill. We think this is part of our history. I'm from the South. I have ancestors that fought in that fought for the South. Robert has ancestors that fought for the South and the North. In fact, Robert's great-great-grandfather was the governor of the state of North Carolina right after the war. He was from New Hampshire. He was from New Hampshire. He was from New Hampshire. So, and we have a pardon from President Johnston on our wall for his other great-great-grandfather, who married the silly, whose daughter married the silly. So we have some great stories in our family. So we went through a terrible war. We did in 1860. We went through a terrible war. A good man was assassinated who freed the slaves. And we're talking about, right now, we're talking about states' rights versus, people are clamoring for a national mandate for masks. That's not something that the national government can do. Did y'all know that? Because we have states' rights. Each state has their ability to decide how things are in their state. And the states that have opened things up, mainly the Republican state, our state is Democratic run. Those states are doing well. But the news media wants you to think that things are blowing up. And I believe they're blowing up because we're testing 1 million people a day. And when, please go. Just go. You don't even have to say bye. You can turn us off. But I know the news media has done more to hurt our families and our children than anything else in this country. I believe that. So that's why I have to find different sources. That's why I have to find different sources. You're not even being told about how the Bidens have sold their souls to the Chinese. I believe that. Yeah. I knew it a long time ago. Those of you on the left, you're not even being told this stuff. So do a search for Biden computer in China. Do a search for it. It's there. You just have to hunt for it. Well, folks, know the issues. I actually voted for 3 Democrats when I voted because they are friends of mine and they're running for public office. One is a school board member, another one is a judge, and then another one had no opposition, and she's our register of deeds. So I believe we need Trump for another 4 years, 4 more years. 4 more years. I'll see you later. I think we'll end with a good song, which is Why Not Today. We love Why Not Today. Not the Amy Benson version, but the other one. There's Eric. Yeah. Know what's going on. Don't believe everything you're told, even from me.
I've been waiting for just the right moment to start living.
Get Terrence's book. It's good.
Life of my dreams.
I'm so proud of him. And I'm proud of Eric, too.
Moment would come rescue me. But it hit me today. There's no better time to begin.
I'll be back on here tomorrow at 11 o'clock. We'll bless our homes.
So I'm jumping in.
Why not today while the sun is shining? Today while I can.
The past is behind me. Tomorrow can't
Find me till I live today.
Why not today?
While the heart is ready. Today while it's in my grasp.
If I start out slowly, I'm confident knowing I'm still on my way. So why not today?
You're welcome to leave. I don't care. Because I'm standing up for what I believe in.
I've been searching in all the wrong places for the courage to follow my dreams, but I finally discovered the power lies inside of me. I could spend my life waiting for something to show me the way. But I would be missing the wonderful blessing of
Embracing today
Why not today?
while the sun is shining.
Today,
While I know I can.
the past is behind me.
Tomorrow can't find me till I live today.
So why not today? While my heart is ready. Today, while it's in my grasp. If I start out slowly, I'm confident knowing I'm still on my
Look at your news silo. That's all I gotta say. If you think I support somebody that's hatred, you're wrong.
I'm willing, I'm able, I'm
Learning to fly, but I know high I can soar if I dare try.
Why not today while the sun is shining? Today while I
No, I
can. The past is behind me. Tomorrow can't find
find me.
me.
It's all about love. Love for the babies. My heart is ready.
Today while it's in my grasp. If I start out slowly, confident knowing I'm
Still on my way.
Why not today?
Why not today?
Why not today?
Moxie's crying. I don't know why Moxie is crying, but I stand up for what I believe in. And I believe we need 4 more years of Donald Trump. I really do. It's all about the babies for me. And tomorrow, I pray that Amy Coney Barrett will become our next Supreme Court Justice. And join me in that prayer. I love you all. See you later.